The World Championship Sports Network welcomes you to the oldest city in Canada, Quebec City and Le Colisée, for one of the most anticipated gold medal games in the history of the IIHF World Hockey Championships. Canada versus Russia, the two most accomplished hockey-playing nations on the planet, meeting for the very first time in the title game since the current format was adopted back in 1992. Hi again, everyone. Steve Schlanger alongside Eric Freed. The atmosphere is charged here in this 57-year-old building, and it is truly a unique moment because this is a matchup that is astonishingly rare. Despite the staggering degree of international success for each nation over the years, they just don't happen to meet in the championship game of big events all that often. The last time that they faced one another in a major international final was the gold medal game of the '92 Olympics in Albertville. So Eric, it's been 16 years since we've seen a matchup of this magnitude between Canada and Russia.
And Steve, as Russia takes the ice, Canada is about ready to step onto the ice. And this crowd, there are a lot of Russian fans, but you'll tell right now where the home ice advantage is. It's here in Quebec City for Team Canada.
$13,000 fans, not a ticket to be found here in Quebec City for this game today. These two nations have combined for 47 out of 71 possible gold medals at the World Championships. You throw in the Olympics, and together they have won 67% of all titles. That is how dominant these two countries have been over the years in major international hockey.
And really, before they drop the puck in this game, you stress historical significance. And Steve just mentioned the fact that this has not happened in this current format. Russia won the championship in 1993. The last time for a world championship that these two countries went head-to-head was 1958 in pool play. The gold medal was on the line when Canada was taking on the Soviet Union. Canada was represented by the Whitney Dunlops. It wasn't an all-star team back then. It was the best club team out of Canada, as Canada won the gold medal that year out of the pool play, and that final game meant everything. Fast forward here 50 years later to 2008. And here you have Evgeny Nabokov and Team Russia with their all-star cast of Alex Ovechkin, Sergei Fedorov, Ilya Kovalchuk. And on the other end, you have Canada with this team that's been brought together with so much talent, so much depth. That top line with Heatley, Getzlaf, and Nash that have been clicking so much during this tournament, to the tune of 44 total points through 8 games. Both teams undefeated. No question as to the two best teams in this tournament. This is no fluke. It may be a year late in coming. We thought we were going to see it last year, but we see it here this year in Quebec City.
Now, they say that Canada invented the game, but Russia perfected it. Only one team will remain perfect after today's game and finish this tournament with a 9-0 mark. Evgeny Nabokov has been sensational for Russia. The 32-year-old posting back-to-back shutouts leading up to this game. His goals against is 1.25, and he is the top statistical netminder here at the World Championships.
And Cam Ward getting the call on the other end with a 4-0 record at 2.0 goals against average. He and Pascal Leclerc have split duties right down the middle. It was Leclerc in the semifinal game. Now Cam Ward, who is no stranger to playing on a big stage when the spotlight is bright. We all know what he did with the Carolina Hurricanes 2 years ago, leading them to a Stanley Cup. Here he is trying to reach gold again for Canada for the second year in a row at the World Championship.
Well, it's been the dream of so many in this country, from British Columbia to Newfoundland. This is the game and the matchup they had been hoping for on this Sunday afternoon. And now Canada, Russia, the gold medal game is underway. Markov plays it at center for Russia. And now Zinoviev carries in, he'll wrap it around the boards, and a big hit early. Canada will come out and try to be as physical as they have been throughout the tournament. They had a tremendous practice yesterday, and they want to get nasty with these Russians. Canadians can't clear the zone, however. Russia holds it in. Here's Steos in the corner. Backhands behind his own goal to the far side. Now Chris Kunitz on the puck. And out to center. Here comes Canada, working it in over the line. Martin St. Louis. Gonna carry it in behind Nabokov. Leaves it near side. Russia will take over. Head coach Ken Hitchcock for Team Canada said, we're gonna have to check better than we've ever checked in our lives against this speedy Russian team here today. And our first whistle will be icing against Russia.
Kovalchuk trying to leave Fedorov, and there you see Ken Hitchcock, whose team has that perfect mix of grit and skill. Russia has not brought the body as much. Slava Bykov's team, though, what they've done very well, surprising to a lot of people, is play defense. Back-to-back shutouts here as they shut out Finland in the semifinal 4-0, shut out Switzerland 6-0 in the quarterfinal. They have played very smart hockey here in this single elimination part of the tournament.
Grabeshkov wraps it around to the near side. A big hit from Bouwmeester. Now Getzlaf back in his own end. That Nash, Heatley, Getzlaf top line for Canada is out there now. They produced 44 points through 8 games. All 3 are in the top 4 of point scoring here at the World Championships. But it's Russia at center with their top line. Fedorov working in. He's poked off the puck. Now behind Ward in front, and they score! Russia, the game's first goal. Alexander Semin, a minute and a half in to the gold medal affair.
Points in this championship for the member of the Washington Capitals, who was left off the team last year, even though he was invited to play, showed up late to the first team meeting. Bykov rescinded the invitation, but he is clicked right from the opening game, and his Capital teammate Ovechkin feeding him beautifully for the goal as Russia on the board first, 1-0.
Well, Canada coming into this game had trailed for a total of 1 minute and 12 seconds throughout the first 8 games. They did have to play from behind for a brief time in the semifinal win over Sweden. And now here early, first period, they trail Russia 1-0 as Spezza gathers it in the corner in the offensive end. And a penalty coming up on Russia, delayed call, and we're going to see our first infraction of the hockey game, and Canada will get the game's initial power play opportunity.
Very important part of the game plan for Bykov and Team Russia to stay out of the penalty box, because Canada has moved up to the #1 position when it comes to power play efficiency in this tournament. 15 of 45 here through 8 games of the Worlds. That's #1 in the 16-team tournament, and Prushkin goes to the box.
Now the Russian penalty kill has been extremely good. They have averaged less than 1 goal per game for their opponents on the power play. As Canada tries to level things here in the first period. Backhanded down the ice by the Russians as we come up on 2 minutes into our first period here at Le Colisée, the gold medal game in Quebec City. Russia leading Canada 1-0. Heatley stick handling in. Lost the handle, picked up, however, by Getzlaf. Weaves through a few defenders, but it's kept in by Canada at the blue line. Nabokov leaves it, whacked around to the near side. Burns will hold in at the point for Canada. Now Heatley controlling on the mid-wall. Back to Burns, the one-timer, Nabokov the save, and the rebound is cleared down the ice. First big save of the hockey game.
Had to scramble a bit, didn't quite know if he had made the save. Burns has played very well on the blue line throughout this tournament for Team Canada.
Russia sends all the way down. Cam Ward plays it off to Jovanovski. Closing in on 1 minute remaining on the Team Canada power play. Canadians gain the zone. Spezza shot deflects up and out of play here, and we're going to get a face-off in the Russian end. Just shy of 3 minutes into our first period.
Well, things were dangerous there for a moment for Team Canada, even on that play as it was carried in. Zinoviev had fallen down in the Canadian zone, and you see Zinoviev coming in late to the play, so there was a numerical advantage for Team Canada but they couldn't cash in. And Nabokov with the save on the first shot of the game that came on this power play before that.
Duncan Keith, Nabokov, the pad save. Canada holds the zone. Jovanovski now deflected. That one never made it through. Whacked at. And Korniev can't clear. Comes in front, and Nabokov is going to scoop this one up. And he'll just clear from the front of the goal mouth. And we've got a whistle just over 3 minutes in.
Nabokov came into this game with a shutout streak of 121 minutes and 35 seconds. Back-to-back shutouts. Stahl goes to the bench as Canada tries to cash in on this power play with 38 seconds to go, and they're going to find that Nabokov is very tough to beat here in Quebec City.
Now probably the best goaltender that Canada has faced in this entire tournament. And now Team Canada racing to center. Here's Jonathan Taves, a wrister. That deflects off the stick of Teuton and into the nets.
Well, it's a toss-up. Back-to-back games, Canada has taken on finalists for the Vezina in the National Hockey League, given to the best goaltender, as Henrik Lundqvist, Evgeny Nabokov, and Martin Brodeur, the New Jersey Devils, the three finalists. Nabokov and Lundqvist playing here in this tournament, but Canada scored 5 times on Lundqvist, who left after 2 periods of play for Team Sweden. So Russia won the matchup earlier in this tournament between Nabokov and Lundqvist. So Nabokov has taken on all comers. Now Canada will try to take him on in this game.
21 seconds of power play time remaining for Canada as they look to level this game here in the opening minutes of our first period. Kalinin backhands behind his own goal. Shane Doan, the captain of Canada, on the far boards. It'll be kept in at the blue line. Down deep for Taves. Markov working on him. Shushinsky. Final 5 seconds of the power play for Canada. Roy back to Burns. Saucer pass to Derek Roy near side as we go back to even strength. Roy a shot deflected wide. Mike Green will keep in. He's sandwiched on the boards, but Burns holds in now. Brent Burns, wrister, and he scores! Brent Burns ties the game for Canada!
Russia had a chance right there. Pushkin just out of the box, couldn't settle the puck. It came back to Burns. Sashinsky committed with the dive. Burns held, sent it through traffic, picked the upper left-hand corner. And it had eyes, didn't it? To find its way through all those bodies. Watch it again. Sashinsky went flying through. Pushkin didn't give up his body to try to block that shot. And Burns, who's been outstanding, second on this team in plus-minus. Second to Danny Heatley, who's first to just about everything in this tournament. But Burns comes through to tie it at 1.
Well, Canada has gotten as much offense from their defense as any team in this tournament. Brent Burns, among the top 10 in defensemen in overall point scoring. Mike Green is the leading defenseman in scoring at the tournament. They've gotten significant contributions from their blue liners when it comes to the offensive production. And now we're tied at 1. Just over 4 minutes into our opening period of the gold medal game. Kovalchuk for Russia. Slaps it in around the boards to the far side. Morozov keeps it in deep. Now Steos in his 4th World Championship for Canada will lift it out to center. Russians play it back to the Canadian blue line.
That was not a power play goal as Pushkin was on the ice, but it was a good power play for Canada as they generated 3 shots on goal and they kept the pressure going even after time expired, which led to the Burns goal.
Patrick Sharp trying to work it in front. Finally stick checked away. Morozov backhands out to center. Gets by Zinoviev, and Canada slides it in too far for Jamal Mayers, however. And a whistle with 15:11 now remaining in the period, icing against Canada. Now there is Ken Hitchcock, their coach.
Well, Canada certainly has carried play here. They had the opportunity on the power play. They've given up just 1 shot on goal in the first 5 minutes of the game. That shot found the back of the net thanks to Alexander Seven as Heatley is on the ice with his tournament leading point total.
Oh, quick wrister and a stick save by Ward.
How about this matchup? The #1 line for Russia, the #1 line for Canada, head-to-head right now.
They call him the Washington line for Russia, the RDR line for Canada. Now Semin slides it wide. And the Russians able to hold in at the point. Drabeshkov, a wrist shot knocked down in front. Semin on it, backhands through his legs. Now behind the Canadian goal. Getzlaf takes over there. And Canada will play it back out to center now. Drabeshkov at the red line. Intercepted by Heatley. He'll bring it in for Canada. And a shot misses on the far side, but Heatley there to hold it down deep. Puck caroms off the inboards, but held in by Burns. Walking it in, Burns a shot. Nabokov made the save, and now Russia, a chance in a transition. Here comes Ovechkin. And it's poked away by Burns on the back check. And they're watching Ovechkin in the corner, not gonna let him loose. Canada comes away. Here's Eric Stahl losing the puck at center for Team Canada. With 6 minutes gone by here in our first period of play, we are 1-1 at Le Colisée. Deflected in, Ward sweeps it around to the far side. Now Shushinsky. He's gonna lose it behind the Canada goal. Now Team Canada striving for their 18th consecutive World Championships win here today. They've scored 13 goals in their last 2 games. Russia, meanwhile, equally spectacular, coming off back-to-back shutouts, winning their last 2 by a combined score of 10-0. And the Russians looking to center now. Deep in the Canadian end. They wind it around, Fedorov in the corner. Now, comes away to the Canadians with Martin Saint-Louis gaining the zone. Stick handling in, leaves it for Saint-Louis, and no goal! No goal! The crowd went wild, but Nabokov had made the save, and the puck never crossed the line. We'll sort this out as things unfold with 7 minutes into our first period. Now the crowd basically erupted here at Le Colisée. They thought that Saint-Louis had poked this one free and into the net. Now there was the shot that it hits the inside of the post and then, boy, somehow avoids going in.
But did it stay out? Yeah, that's the question. It ended up under Nabokov. Crazy sequence there as Russia had some tired skaters on the ice, and that gave Burns and Saint-Louis and Canada a chance to rush up. You see the referees here today indicating we will check with video, but I don't think there's any question that that one is going to keep this game at 1-1. Although Canada was pretty close, and Nabokov lost his mask as a result of it, but Saint-Louis, no question, hit the post, and it came back out and ended up under Nabokov. So loud in this building that they need to go with the muffed headset here. No goal. It's the right call. And there's
Absolutely.
No question on that.
There was no doubt. I think the crowd went so crazy because they thought it had to be going in with Nabokov well out of position, an empty net. Saint-Louis right there. Got a little ahead of themselves, but we remain tied at 1 here with just over 13 minutes left to go in our first period. Canada has outshot Russia 5-2. And the face-off to the left of Nabokov in the Russian goal. Now Tereshchenkov will be sent out of the face-off circle. And Radulov steps in for Russia against Jason Spezza. Won by Canada. Wrist shot, and Nabokov's going to glove that one, and another whistle. Semin, the goal for Russia. Burns answering for Canada. 1-1 the score, just inside of 13 minutes remaining in our first period. Another face-off deep in the Russian end. Wound around to the near side, Radulov. One-time hero in Quebec where he played his junior hockey. His long shot easily gloved by Cam Ward.
Radulov's been a healthy scratch 3 times in this tournament as Russia has really struggled with all their depth to get playing time for even an NHL player coming off a strong year like Alexander Radulov. The 21-year-old had 58 points this year, but skating out there in the gold medal game on the fourth line, he's looking for his first goal, as is Ilya Kovalchuk. Patrick Roy has been a fixture here, the head coach and general manager of the Quebec Remparts in the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League, who housed Radulov during his time here as a junior player in Quebec City.
Morozov tries to leave it in the corner for Russia. Now along the far boards. In front. Shot deflected off the stick of Steve Staios for Canada. Chimera can't clear. Now Canada will settle on defense here, and Jovanovski is going to take it in behind his own cage with 12:25 left to go in our first period. Staios, rink-wide pass for Patrick Sharp. Couldn't handle it. The Russians backhand out to center. Zinoviev couldn't control that one, and it's smacked in. Comes off the lively inboards in front, but nobody there for Canada. Now here's Jamal Mayers. Back to the point for the one-timer that deflects to the near side. Well, you see just how much action you get off the boards here, and that puck caroming very crisply back out to the middle of the ice. And the Canadians will have to just dump in. They would have been offsides, and now a line change for each team as we go under 12 minutes left to play in our opening period. And this is Korniev from his own end ahead to Grabeshkov. Canada takes over at their own line. Now Ovechkin trying to move in, and a whistle. And this was going to be, it looks like, offsides against Russia. So the faceoff will come back out at center.
Game plan for Canada today is to try to deny that man the puck. If Ovechkin gets near it, he's going to get a shot off. You see he's had a great tournament, 11 points to pace Russia here at the 2008 Worlds, and play was offside. The one X factor here today, not on the ice right now, but he is in the lineup, Ilya Kovalchuk. He was reunited with Zinoviev and Morozov on that top line, even though it was Morozov, Zinoviev, and Zaripov, teammates in the Russian Superliga, who were paired up last game and have been such a good combination. But now it's Kovalchuk up there, and you wonder what it does for chemistry here in a gold medal game.
Al Heatley is going to play it in. Nash will chase for Canada. He's in behind the Russian net, gets taken down by Grabeshkov. Nash, though, settling the puck. Grabeshkov works him into the wall. And Getzlaf is going to lose out on the far side, and Canada will have to backpedal to center ice. Well, this Russian team, as this is going to be offsides against the Russians, they say that this year's squad here for Russia plays the team game better than most Russian squads we've seen down through the years. It's not the individual end-to-end rushes you've often seen from so many of the skilled players over the years. They're passing the puck. They're playing the team game. So we'll see if they do indeed have that sense of chemistry here today in their most important contest.
Now, one area where you really notice that is the line that scored the goal. Fedorov, who joined the Washington Capitals at the end of this past season. Ovechkin and Semin, his Washington teammates. They've really clicked.
Now a chance for Kunitz, and he scores! Chris Kunitz gives Canada their first lead!
A mistake at center ice by Russia as they tried to carry it out. Sashinsky just gave it up, fell down, and Kunitz took it back the other way and beat Nabokov cleanly to give Canada the 2-1 lead. It all began at the red line, and much like the first goal, Sashinsky got hit at the red line, and Kunitz picked it up. Great goal there by Kunitz, his second of the tournament. Canada on top.
Now, Canada fell behind early, but like we saw in their semifinal win over Sweden, they come back just so quickly. They don't get down on themselves. They keep coming at you. And here we are now, a 2-1 game in favor of Canada coming up on the midpoint of our first period. And that puck just slides in wide of Cam Ward. Derek Roy lifts it off the glass out to center. Now the Canadians trying to carry in with Jonathan Toews. Plays it to himself. Gets bumped behind the net. Stays with it. Four-player battle now. In front, loose. Puck is being hacked at. And bouncing puck lands in the near side. Now comes free, and the Russians have skated out to center. Tereshchenko, far side for Markov. A long shot in on Ward. He steers it to the near side, and a line change for Russia. Just under 10 minutes left to go in the period. Now a giveaway. Here's Zinoviev, a shot. Ward makes the stop for Canada. Now Cam Ward was twice cut from the Canadian national junior team, but here he is making his second straight start in a gold medal game at the World Championships.
9-0 all time at the World Championships. A good stop there by Ward as it caught the inside of his pad. Didn't quite know if he had it, but he did. Keep it a 2-1 game.
Now they're scrapping for the puck, trying to center. Russia still maintaining the zone. Now a giveaway. Here comes Canada, led by Jason Spezza to center. He's going to play it off the far boards. Canada showing their speed. Spezza in front, puck loose, and now on the near side. Canada really flying here, and now a penalty coming up on Russia, it looks like. It'll be their second of the first period.
Zinoviev is going to go off on a trip. You know, Canada's just out skating Russia, pure and simple right now. Canada has drawn a couple of penalties. They have dominated carrying play on this end of the ice. Zinoviev's going to go off, and that's going to put Canada, that has the momentum right now. Bykov wanting an interference call. Kovalchuk was barking for that as well, but Canada has the power play, and they have the lead.
Canada has been relentless here in this tournament. Even when they fell behind to Sweden a couple of days ago, they came right back. Now here they bounce back extremely quickly against Russia to take the lead. Here's Nash down deep. Heatley. That shot blocked by Nabokov, kept in by Burns, however. And Canada holds the zone in the power play. Heatley, the one-timer. And he partially fanned on that shot, but he gets it back along the wall. Danny Heatley holding. At the point, Mike Green. Heatley again looking inside. Green, the one-timer, deflected wide. Now Nash to Heatley. They try to compress this Russian penalty kill here. Now from the point, Mike Green. Rick Nash with some room, a shot that Nabokov makes the save. With 1:08 left to go on the power play.
Now Russia's special teams haven't been anything special here in this tournament. On the penalty kill, they're 10th. In the 16-team tournament. On the power play, they're 9th. So Nabokov is going to be the one who's going to have to carry things for them here on the penalty kill. Came up with a couple of saves in that sequence as Canada has outshot Russia 9-5 here in the first period.
St. Louis against Shushinsky. Spezza gets it back to the blue line. Now Jovanovski has some daylight, and Nabokov somehow got a glove on that. It was Eric Stahl right in his face.
Again, Nabokov has to come through, not give up any rebounds, settle for gloving it. And that was a great glove save by Nabokov as it was teed up and looked to be on target with Stahl jumping out of the way of the puck.
Evgeny Nabokov in his first ever World Championships for Russia. Did play in the '06 Olympic Games. And now Russia on the penalty kill with Zaripov out to center. Gonna skate it in, a wrist shot, misses wide. Puck winds all the way to the near side for Spezza.
Yeah, Steve, Russia with all their skill, they have not gambled much on the penalty kill. They don't have a shorthanded goal here through 8 games in the tournament.
Jovanovski over to Spezza, now back to the point for Canada. Half a minute to go in their power play. They have the 2-1 lead over Russia. Jovanovski finds Martin St. Louis, the former Hart Trophy winner. Into Duncan Keith, lost between his skates, and now the Russians slide it down the ice. New penalty kill unit coming on. Canada trying to catch him in the change. Spezza looking inside, holding. Now down to St. Louis deep. Spezza gets it back. Final few seconds of the power play. Loose in front. Puck chopped at, now in the corner, Kovalchuk. Gonna move along the far wing boards. Loses the handle, however, as we go back to even strength. Zinoviev is on the ice for Russia. And now Canada will slide it down the rink, and they'll get a line change here with just over 7 minutes left to play in the first period, and it is now icing against Team Canada. Canada with back-to-back goals from Burns and Kunitz, now with a 2-1 lead here in the gold medal game. quite the atmosphere here at Le Colisée. This old barn is packed on this Sunday afternoon, and they are loving what they've seen. Some big hitting from their team, and even though they fell behind, Canada has come back with 2 consecutive goals. The second one from Chris Kunitz. That's given Team Canada their first lead of the contest.
The house that Beliveau built, and some of the hockey royalty in the building here today, including Scotty Bowman with his 9 Stanley Cups. He's here. I saw Lou Lamoriello yesterday. There are plenty of hockey dignitaries here to see this dream matchup between Canada and Russia.
I heard it was Lou Lamoriello who saw you yesterday.
No, not true. Not true. I would like to think that, but I know better.
Now the Canadians try to hack it out of their own zone. Now here's Shane Doan. Plays it off the boards out to Jonathan Toews. He'll gain the blue line, dump it off. Now in the middle of Doan, a little bit behind him. Kovalchuk throws it down. Gets those wheels turning, trying to skate it out to center. And Russia with it in the neutral zone. Pass behind Markov. Steos takes it back into his own end. Now something's got to give here today. We have the top 2 defensive teams here at the World Championships, but 2 of the top offenses. And in their last 6 games collectively, neither team has scored less than 4 goals. So could be a very high-scoring game once again here today. Yet the netminders aren't the ones that make the difference, as this one is shot up into the crowd about 10 rows deep here at Le Colisée.
Well, it certainly looks like Canada is a half step faster than Russia, and Russia, a team known for their speed, and now they're going to be back in the penalty box for the 3rd time in this period to delay a game.
Sergei Fedorov goes off, and when you have a game of this much importance that is so equal on both sides in virtually every facet of the game, oftentimes it comes down to things like this: penalties, mistakes, undisciplined play, and right now it's Russia losing that battle with their 3rd penalty of this first period.
It's helped Canada build time of possession and keep the pressure on throughout this period. Shots are 11-5.
Burns the shot. Gets left. Ball on the near side with under 6 to go in the period. Burns. Back to Ryan Getzlaf. Now the Anaheim Duck fires, and the glove save again by Nabokov with big Rick Nash right in front of the goal.
Well, it's going to be a 40-save night for Nabokov if Russia's going to have any chance to win this game if this keeps up. Obviously, discipline was one of our key words that we used at the top of this telecast, and Russia has lacked it here. They've made a couple of mistakes outside of the ones that have landed them in the penalty box. It's all Canada right now, but the score's just 2-1 Canada here in the first.
Now off the face-off puck, lying in the corner, and another penalty coming up on Russia. So it will be a 2-man advantage for Canada.
It's going to be a high stick. Will it be a 4-minute or a 2-minute, as Nash is showing off the stick work of Fedor Tutin. And it's going to be a 4. It's going to be a huge call here. Some blood on Nash, and that has resulted in the extra 2 minutes. And it's not Pushkin, it was Tutin who had his stick up. But a huge moment here, a 5-on-3 for 1:30. And then 2.5 minutes of power play time on top of that if Canada can't score.
This could be a pivotal point of this hockey game, even though we are still in the first period of play. Canada looking for the 2-goal lead with a 2-man advantage. Now comes near side. Heatley is on it for Canada. Danny Heatley working it in down to St. Louis. Back to Heatley. Now Mike Green stick handling. Heatley far side. Canada works it to Heatley for the one-timer. He fanned on it in front, and they score! It's Brent Burns, his second of the period. 3-1 Canada.
In Instead of setting up out at the blue line, Burns was camped out at the top of the crease. He was mixing it up with Kalinin and Danny Markov, but Burns fought off the stick, got free, and threw it through the legs of Nabokov. And all came off a fan shot, believe it or not, that ended up on the stick of Martin St. Louis. Burns following the puck the whole way and knocks it in. He's had a great tournament and a great game here so far. A 5-on-3 power play goal and a timeout being called here by Russia to try to settle things down, knowing that this game could hang in the balance right at this moment with Canada rolling. 3 first period goals, and they're still on the power play.
3:33 of a 5-on-4 still left for Canada, and they could almost put it out of reach, as unbelievable as that may sound here. But a 2-goal lead, and with so much time left on the power play, they could really demoralize the Russians with another goal here before the end of the first period that still has over 5 minutes remaining.
Certainly could happen, but still with 2 full periods plus the 5:09 left to go here in this first period, plus what Russia can roll out onto the ice line after line. This game is never over, and that's why I think Bykov wants to tell his team, look, we are still very much in it, even though it feels like we're losing 10-1 right now. It's a 3-1 game. Stick with it.
Spezza's going to carry in for Team Canada. Now to the near side, nobody was there for Canada. Markov has got some daylight out to center on the penalty kill. He'll work in. Wrist shot was going high. Ward's going to glove for the whistle anyway. Now after the Alexander Semin goal that gave Russia the 1-0 lead early, it's been 3 unanswered tallies for Canada. 2 by Burns and 1 from Chris Kunitz that has given the Canadians the 3-1 lead.
And Canada is going to have to play above perfect hockey here to avoid staying out of the penalty box, you would think, with already 10 minutes of penalties called against Russia here in the first.
Just about 3 minutes of power play time left for Canada and 4.5 minutes remaining in our first period here in Quebec City. Now back to Jovanovski on the wall. He's going to take a hit. Rick Nash has the puck, skating down low to Heatley. Danny Heatley centers high slot, wrist shot. That one just deflected wide of Nabokov. Nash will keep it in. Heatley now looking inside. Danny Heatley, a wrist shot that was blocked in front. Now Heatley with another goal would set another record for Canada. Right now tied with Eric Lindros for the most goals at a single World Championships. They each have 11. And the Russians poking at the puck, but they can't clear. Getzlaf holds in. Now Jovanovski at the point. Duncan Keith tried to center for Nash, got by him, but Getzlaf is on it for Canada. Now Jovanovski down to Nash, drops it off. Jovanovski once more from out front, blocked in the middle, and that one just sent wide by Getzlaf.
Good save by Nabokov as Getzlaf teed it up right in the slot.
Getzlaf again carrying in. Soft pass for Nash. Under 2 to go in the power play. Nash drops it off, but it got by Keith. Bad angle shot, and the puck squirts free to the corner. Nash has some room far side. Now comes over to Jovanovski. Rick Nash again. To an open Keith, back to Nash in front. Nabokov knocked it down, and he's going to smother it for the whistle with 1:29 left to go in the Canada power play.
Hard work there by the Russian penalty kill corps, as not only are they dealing with consistent possession in their defensive own on the hands of Canada, but you have Heatley out there, you have Nash out there, you have Getzlaf. Huge guys to try to move out of the slot and off the top of the crease.
3:05 left to go in our opening period of this gold medal game. 3-1 Canada. Derek Roy. Buffalo Sabre drops it off down low for Taves. The Chicago Blackhawks will slide it to the point for Burns, who has 2 of the 3 Canadian goals. Now down low, Taves again. A wrist shot, and that was blocked in front, but Taves is going to stay right with it in the corner. Ticking down to the final minute of the power play for Canada, and they'll have to vacate the zone here. Burns is going to go all the way back into his own end. And now 2.5 minutes left to go in our opening period. Here's Taves, tries to slide it in. Russia with Terashenko at center now, and the Canadians basically swarm him there. Shane Doan picks it up. Now Russia is going to have to get back to even strength. They cannot play this game on the penalty kill. They need to be flying. They need to be skating, stick handling, passing, using the flash and the skill that they are known for if they're going to get back in this hockey game.
That was a good gritty effort by Terashenko, though, as offsides called, as Terashenko was down on the ice in the referee's crease on his back. He still found a way to flip it out of the zone, and it brought Canada all the way back for the first time in this power play. And made them reset and gave Russia that extra second for Nabokov to exhale and for some fresh penalty killers to get on the ice. 1:56 to go here in the first period. Shots on goal, 15-5 Canada here in Quebec City.
And Team Canada now with 51 goals in their 9 games so far. And we're still in the first period of game number 9 right now. They lead by 2 with 1:45 to go. And now Kunitz drops it off for St. Louis. Skates it along the blue line. Jovanovski, wrist shot was blocked, but he's going to stay with it. And now we're back to even strength. Kunitz to the corner for Canada. We'll drop it off for Eric Stahl. Stahl has 2 Russians on him, but stays with a puck. Stick handling to the near side. Stahl, Carolina Hurricane. And it comes back to the point for Steos. Zinoviev now. Long outlets, and here comes Prushkin in over the line for Russia. But poked away by St. Louis. Chimera at the red line, just going to smash it in around the boards. Line change for each team as we go under 1 minute remaining in our first period of play. Alexander Ovechkin. Shot deflected off the stick of Steos, and this one lands on the near side. Now Sharp takes a big hit in the corner for Canada. And a penalty coming up. Semin. This is going to go against Canada. Semin tries to center, and now the whistle blows, and the first penalty of the hockey game against Team Canada with 37.3 seconds to go in the first period.
Well, Canada was on the power play for so long, we forgot what Alexander Ovechkin looked like, and he came onto the ice in the 5-on-5, ready to play. We saw him deliver a huge hit on Dan Hamhuis earlier in the period. He came out and hit Sharp here on that shift. Semin was hit with a high stick, and it will put Russia on the power play.
Here's Kovalchuk, wrist shot. Now Russia 9th best at the World Championships on the power play with 9 goals on the man advantage. And just 25 seconds left to go here in the first period. Canada 3rd best on the penalty kill, allowing only 5 goals and 35 chances against. Ward stops it behind his own goal, sweeps it around the far boards. Canada an easy clear down the surface of the rink. And now under 10 seconds to go in the period. Russians maybe with one final chance. Here's Ovechkin, and a whistle as it looks like he was offsides. So just 2.5 seconds now. The faceoff will come back to center, and this should take us to the end of the first period.
I'll tell you what, though, it's a 3-1 game. Canada won that period without question on the scoreboard, and they won it when it comes to keeping the pressure on. But a 2-goal deficit is not a lot for Russia. There's no doubt about that, with Ovechkin and Kovalchuk and Morozov and players like that. So if Russia can stay out of the penalty box in the final 40 minutes, they'll have a chance in this game. But they are whistled for 10 minutes of penalties in the first period. They're not going to win if they're in the box.
Russia has not been able to get into any kind of a rhythm whatsoever here, and now the first period comes to an end. Well, Alexander Semin gave Russia the early lead, but then 3 consecutive Canadian goals. 2 by Burns, 1 from Kunitz, and after 20 minutes at Le Coliseum in the gold medal game of the World Hockey Championships, the score is Canada 3 and Russia 1. We'll come back between periods here in Quebec City in just a moment on WCSN. And as the second period commences, Russia still has 1:23 of power play time carrying over from our first period of play. Kovalchuk from behind his own net will stick handle to center for Russia. Trailing by 2 as this second period gets underway. Bouwmeester against Fedorov in the corner. Now here's Kovalchuk on the near side. Russia gets things structured here with a 5-on-4. Down deep, in front, and Ward had to bat it away. Semin softly winds it along the boards. Now Semin trying to skate free with it. And it's going to be Hamhuis who tries to shovel it out of the zone, and the Russians will hold in. Semin on the forehand as it poked away by Hamhuis, but he'll stay with it in the corner. Now the one-timer fanned on from the point by Kovalchuk. Ovechkin knocks Bouwmeester off the puck. Kept in out high by Russia. Half a minute to go in the power play here. And now Korniev setting up, drops it off. Arister. And the Russians looking for an opportunity with time winding down. They'll hold the zone. There's a shot well wide of Ward. On the rebound, they score! Semin gets his second of the game for Russia with 10 seconds to go on the power play, and it's now a 1-goal game.
Throughout this tournament here in Quebec City, from the very start, you notice the kick off the end boards here, and teams have played it to their advantage. Korniev setting it well wide, but look at that puck come flying back out to Semin, who's able to put it in. Russia has played every one of their games here in this building. They know full well the little quirks and the bounces that can come here. But Canada, this is just their second game here, and Cam Ward's first game here on this ice. So advantage Russia there. They score on the power play to make it a 3-2 game.
Now in the semifinals on Friday, every time Sweden scored against Canada, the Canadians seemed to find another gear as they would kick it up a notch and really come storming back. We'll see what happens after the Russians' second goal here, a little less than 2 minutes into our second period of play.
I think Bykov's message was clear between periods. We could not have played much worse in that first period. We couldn't stay out of the penalty box. We made mistakes that ended up in the back of our net. The officials didn't help us out. However, we're down only 3-1, and we'll be on the power play when we take the ice to start period number 2. They cash in on an important power play to make it a 1-goal game as they try to turn momentum fully in their favor.
Al Semin got a goal in the opening minutes of our first period. He strikes again in the first few here in our second frame. 3-2 Canada. And we are at even strength. The Russians trying to send in front. Now Terashenko takes a hit from Burns. Here's Heatley. And the Russians now back in their own end with the puck. Crowd really coming to life once again here at Le Colisée. Huge Russian contingent in the stands, but mostly Canadian among the 13,000. And the Russians with Terashenko skated in, dropped off. In front it comes. And no call is made as Nash took Radulov down. And now Markov back in the neutral zone for Russia. Dumps it off, and the Russians will shoot it in. They'll go for a line change 2.5 minutes deep into our middle period.
Yeah, the Russian fans know what's up in this building, playing in Canada. And when the officials came on the ice before the start of the second period, you can hear the whistles throughout the building as the fans let them know what they thought of their calls in the first.
Now Spezza couldn't get the handle behind the Russian goal. Now Tutin against Spezza. Here's Eric Stahl. He finds Mike Green out high. A shot in front, and that one was deflected down on Nabokov. Kovalchuk just backhands out to center. Green into his own end for Canada. Here's St. Louis now. Over to Stahl. Rister partially deflected. Jovanovski in the corner for Canada. Plays it off the end boards, and Kovalchuk will get it. It's Spezza on its way out to center, and the bouncing puck in front of the Russian net. Canada will take it back into their own end. Now long pass ahead, deflected under the stick of Spezza. Now Derek Roy, Rister off the glass and all the way back out to center. Here come the Russians. Semin again. He wraps it around behind the Canadian goal. Shane Doan far side. Derek Roy with some speed through center. Plays it off the boards. He'll chase in. Misses the check. Shane Doan comes in. And the team captain can't hold. Here comes Ovechkin. In on goal. Ovechkin shoots. And Ward makes the save on Alexander Ovechkin. Then Ovechkin a big hit down deep on Hamhuis. Shane Doan with daylight in the neutral zone. He's going to give to Taves. Now Bouwmeester a shot. Nabokov the save, and we get a whistle.
First, the goal attempt for Ovechkin. Watch him use his strength to keep Bouwmeester at bay, but Ward got out there. Then Ovechkin followed through on the play. This could have been a charge here as Ovechkin left his feet and delivered the hit on Hamhuis, but nothing was called. Nabokov on the other end looking for the deflection that came off of Stahl and right on him. That was before the chances for Ovechkin, who obviously looked pretty fresh on that rush and hit on Hamhuis.
Canada out shooting Russia 17-7, but their lead is only one at 3-2. Here's Zinoviev. Slings it to the near side all the way down the ice, and Ward is going to play it. Pass misses Chimera, and the Russians bang it off the near boards. Here's a chance for Morozov. Skates in, backhand, a shot, and Ward made the save. Now Sharp, near side. Chimera lets it go out to Jamal Mayers. He's going to skate it in for Canada. Stick checked away, however. Now deflects off the skate of Morozov and slapped in around the boards, and it's icing against Canada. Just shy of 5 minutes into our second period.
Well, Alexei Morozov, who was the scoring leader last year for this Russian squad, the captain, who missed the game this tournament against Switzerland after he was hit by Douglas Murray of Team Sweden. Morozov was hit during that sequence by Burns. Looks a little banged up on the bench. Had a good scoring opportunity. 1-goal game. Canada still on top.
Now Morozov, one of 5 Russians with at least 5 goals or more here in this tournament. These two teams with such depth offensively. Canada brought 6 30-goal scorers from the NHL to this tournament this year for the first time since 1994. So the offense is loaded. So does
that balance trump the fact that Russia brought in the 2 top goal scorers in the NHL this year in Ovechkin and Kovalchuk? It may be a wash.
I think you just got to figure out who was left out at that point, if anybody. Nabokov steers it to the side of his own goal. Markov is going to take a hit from Getzlaf. Russians long outlet. Now Ivanikov works it in, poke checked away by Ed Jovanovski. Now the battle is in the near corner. Sent around to the far side. Getzlaf gets to it for Canada, and he'll play it out to Danny Heatley. Top line on the ice for Canada. Heatley swoops in behind Nabokov, but he relatively easily plays it around. Now on the near side, Russia with some room through center. Markov drops it off. Poroshenko skates it in. Wrist shot pad saved by Ward. St. Louis shovels it off the boards to Eric Stahl. Tutin backhands in front of the benches. Now at the blue line. Green plays it forward to Martin St. Louis. Tries to get a step on Tutin. Works it in. Stahl just a little too far for him. The net comes away from the moorings. No penalty called, but we do get a whistle just inside of 6 minutes into our second period.
Eric Stahl, who missed the quarterfinal game to attend the funeral services for his grandfather in Thunder Bay, rejoined his team before the semifinal game, was here for a practice on Thursday, played in the semifinal on Friday, and Stahl close to putting Canada back in front by 2. 14:01 to go in the second.
Face off deep in the Russian end. Stahl wins it back to Duncan Keith. He winds it in behind the goal. Stahl is there for Canada, trying to get it in front. And now Prushkin will challenge him in the corner, slide it up the far boards, and now out to center. Shushinsky gives it off. Zaripov can't beat Keith. And And Stahl tries to turn it back up ice. The Russians hold in, but only momentarily. It's backhanded to center. Here's Kunitz with some room. Center's in front, and Stahl couldn't control the pass. Gorovikov is going to play it up over the glass and into the crowd. The Canadians wanted a delay of game,
yeah, they're going to get it.
Yeah,
they're going to get it, no question. Power play coming up. First mistake in the period for Team Russia. Down by 1.
Slava Baikov, the head coach of Team Russia. He actually played in one of the Russians' last significant games here in Quebec City. It was Rendezvous 87. As you look at the delay of game call right here, it was a matchup of the Russians, at that time the Soviet Union, against the NHL All-Stars. Baikov was a player that year, and Rendezvous 87, as well as the Canada Cup games from the 70s and 80s. Those contests here in those 2 decades, some still say is the best hockey we've ever seen.
Baikov's connection to this province also includes the fact that he was drafted by the Quebec Nordiques, but he never played in the NHL. Opted to play in Switzerland. He's a Swiss citizen coaching Team Russia.
Now Canada now on the power play from deep in their own end with a 1-goal lead here. Danny Heatley tries to skate it in, kept out at center by the Russians. Canada 1 for 4 with the man advantage here this afternoon. Brent Burns getting a goal on a 5-on-3 back in the first period. Too far for Burns that time, and Mike Green sends a rink-wide pass. Now onto the stick of Burns. Near side it comes to Heatley. And Getzlaf can't hold the zone. Here's a chance shorthanded for Zinoviev. The Russian moving in, just going to take it back to center now and kill off some time here. 1:12 left to go in the power play for Canada. And the Russians with Zinoviev working in. Shot deflected to the corner. And the Canadians off the far boards to center. Derek Roy now working in around his man. Roy had it poked away behind the Russian goal. And Russia can't clear the zone. Kept in by Green. Canada trying to keep it in. They will do so with Jovanovski on the far boards. Shovels it down, and then the Russians take over. They'll skate it back to center. As we come up on 8 minutes into our second period, Cam Ward has to glove that, then sticks it away to the near corner. Jovanovski behind his own goal with half a minute to go in the 5-on-4 for Canada. Derek Roy trying to weave his way in between defenders, drops it off. Jovanovski a wrist shot, and Nabokov tries to glove the rebound. He's laying in the prone position and finally gets the whistle, although the Canadians kept coming.
Took forever for that whistle, didn't it? Means that the referee saw the puck and that it wasn't covered cleanly by Nabokov. Let's see if we can find it. Yeah, Nabokov didn't have it, and then it ended up under his glove.
Now it looked like Terashenko actually played it back to Nabokov as he thought he had the puck, and Terashenko then worked it underneath his glove. So the face-off to the left of the Russian netminder. 17 seconds of power play time left for Canada, but Teuton gets it off the draw for Russia, and they slam it all the way down the ice. And this is Duncan Keith, who goes back to get it. Ward almost misplayed it with Terashenko coming in a hurry. Now St. Louis with some speed over the line. And now we're back to even strength here. Chance for Russia. Gorovikov just out of the box, dropped it off for Terashenko, now in the corner. Zaripov can't center. Eric Stahl will start things from behind his own goal all the way out across his blue line now to center, and he backhands in. Coming up on 11 minutes left to play in our second period. Alexander Semin, the only goal of the period for Russia, and it's 3-2 Canada. Now a long shot, blocked partially by Brent Burns. He's going to gather it in far side. Tipped ahead to Eric Stahl with the Russians. Take it right back at center. Fedorov just navigating his way through the neutral zone. Stick handling in. Carving his way down towards the corner. Plays it off the inboards for Semin far side. Quick shot. Ward made the save. And then the battle of the eights. Ovechkin and Burns hitting on the far side of the ice as the puck finally goes up into the crowd, it looks like. And A faceoff coming deep in the Team Canada end.
Well, Sergei Fedorov, that old dog, still has a few tricks, doesn't he? A little stick handling for the 38-year-old who has looked 28 playing with this line of Alexander Semin and Alexander Ovechkin. Fedorov with 10 points here in this tournament, 5 goals, 5 assists. Of course, a 6-time NHL All-Star, playing in the Worlds for the first time in 18 years.
Now Hamhuis from behind his own goal. And this top line for Russia, the Washington line as they call them because they all play for the Washington Capitals. Over 30 points now here in this tournament. The top 2 lines for each of these teams have been the 2 best singular lines here in the entire competition. And here is the top line for Canada, led by Heatley, sending it in behind the Russian goal. Heatley gets it back, wrist shot, and he scores! It's another record for Danny Heatley, and a 4-2 Canada lead.
.12 in the tournament now for Heatley. This #1 line does it again as Heatley took it from Getzlaf and found a little room between Nabokov's right pad and right blocker and that post. There wasn't a lot of room, but it went right under the arm. No, Nabokov needs to get that one, doesn't he? Heatley, it's been his tournament. The front runner for the most valuable player award. The numbers alone would suggest that, but also the way he's played and anchored that top line here of the 16 teams at the World Championship.
And with that goal, now an even dozen for the tournament. One better than Eric Lindros for the most all-time for Team Canada at 1 World Championship event. And what he also does is he equals Steve Yzerman's record for total points at a singular World Championship. So the record's just being ticked off one by one for Heatley here. He's already surpassed Marcel Dionne's all-time goals record, Yzerman's all-time points record for a career at a World Championships. Now he's the leading Canadian goal scorer at 1 Worlds, and with another point, would be the all-time points leader at a World Championships.
And give another point to Ryan Getzlaf, second on the team in scoring with 14.
Now, Canada tries to center, Nabokov covers. And now the Canadian crowd as they have a break in the action, and the announcement of the goal from Danny Heatley coming to their feet here. He also won the MVP back in 2004 when Canada won gold, and if they preserve this lead and win gold here today, he will assuredly get his second MVP recognition. Hamhuis in his own end for Canada. And now out at center, Jonathan Toews races in around Grabeshkov. Now circles in the corner, drops it off for Hamhuis. Dan Hamhuis' shot just misses. As we're a little over midway through the hockey game now, coming up on 9 minutes left to go, second period. Canada leading Russia 4-2 in the battle for the gold medal. Shane Doan walks it in, a wrist shot, then a save by Nabokov. Roy back to the point for Bouwmeester. And now the Russians deep in their own end. Martin St. Louis not going to allow Russia to come out to center. And a forecheck all the way into the zone. Now Semin, long rink-wide pass onto the tape of Ovechkin. He works in and his shot misses. What a pass to find Ovechkin in stride on the blade. And now the clock stopped with 8:24 to go in the period.
Yeah, those two at the end of a long shift as well. Ovechkin was again trying to tee up some Canadian players for hits and almost cost him earlier as Ovechkin and Toews colliding there. Ovechkin went in for a hit in the offensive zone earlier and was very slow coming back up the ice, and Hamhuis, reading it well, got a shot on goal that was deflected wide.
Kunitz softly off the boards but not out. Morozov keeps it in. for Russia, and now the Canadians with Stahl will send it down the rink, and this is going to be icing against Team Canada.
Well, Russia had turned the momentum, it seemed, in that first few minutes of the period. A minute 14 in, 7 getting the power play goal to make it a 1-goal game, but Heatley again has been too much for every opponent here in this tournament. And Russia finding out as well. 2 points already in this game for Danny Heatley.
Now out at center, the Russians able to work it back in with Kovalchuk. He's upended by Stahl. Saint-Louis lifts it off the glass out to center. Near side for Nikulin. Gonna wrist it in around the boards. Now Steos behind his own goal. Morozov picks it up there. In front it comes, and a save by Ward! Point blank! Zinoviev was right in front, and Ward made a terrific stop. Now Kunitz in transition for Canada. Gonna drop it off, a shot and a save at the other end by Nabokov on Saint-Louis.
I think Nabokov knocked it down with a high stick to stop play, but great opportunities on both ends. The goaltender shining in a 2-goal game.
7:26 left to go in the period. Look at Saint-Louis, the one-timer there. Nabokov just post to post so quickly, and then on the other end, prior to that, it was Zinoviev in front, and Ward was ready for the test.
Good work behind the goal by Morozov as he got it to Kovalchuk, who fed it out to Zinoviev, but Cam Ward coming through with a key save there, as Kovalchuk has 6 assists here in this tournament, but he has not scored a goal. We talked about the chemistry issues for Slava Bykov, and you know, a guy who scored 52 goals in the NHL, you gotta let him roll. But Kovalchuk missed the last game after serving a 1-game suspension for getting his 2nd game misconduct of this tournament. Kovalchuk's got to rein in it a little bit, and they could certainly use a little goal scoring from the Atlanta Thrasher in this game if they want to get back into this gold medal game.
Mike Green in the corner, gonna take a hit. Zaripov tries to slide it in front for Gorovikov, comes back out to center now. And the Russians will circle it around. Tutin, though, gives it away, as we've got 7 minutes now remaining in our second period. Canada has the 4-2 lead. And now in around behind the Russian goal, Rick Nash overskates the puck for Canada. Zaripov. Cross ice pass. Shashinsky will work it in, trying to go around Duncan Keith. Poked away, but the Russians stay on it in the corner. Zaripov takes it behind the Canadian goal, tries to center. Getzlaf got a piece, and he lifts it back out to center. Line change for both teams here with 6.5 to go. Middle period. 2-goal lead for Canada as the Russians carry in. Here is Semin dropping it off, and a shot banned on by Ovechkin. Canada has outshot Russia 21-14. They lead by 2 as we close in on 6 minutes to go in the second period, and this is icing against Canada.
Alexander Semin's really been good here in this game. You'll isolate here on Ovechkin. This is a feed from Semin, and it's not too often that a guy who has scored 65 goals in an NHL season will miss that opportunity, but Ovechkin whiffed. Face off after the icing back in Canada's end.
We had 4 goals in the first period. We've added 2 in the second. 4-2 is the lead for Canada. Korniev back for Russia. Slings it off the near boards. Hamhuis back for it and plays it ahead to Derek Roy for Team Canada. He's going to rifle it in around the boards. Gorobeshkov leaves it for Ovechkin. Big hit on Jonathan Taves, who loses his stick. Now the late offsides. Russia will just bring it out. Intercepted by Shane Doan, however. Doan just flips it into the corner. And Korniev whacks it around the boards, kept in by Bouwmeester. Taves abruptly pulls up, drops it for Doan. His shot misses, but Hamhuis is there to hold in on the boards. Dan Hamhuis at the blue line. Long shot. Nabokov makes the stop, and he bends over to cover. And we get a whistle with 5:23 remaining.
A lot of excitement on that shift. Jonathan Taves, as he was fighting for the loose puck, had his stick knocked out of his hands. Oh, more goaltending royalty here. Ken Dryden in attendance. Vladislav Tretiak, of course, overseeing the Russian hockey operation. We saw Patrick Roy earlier. The stoic Dryden cracking a smile here. How about that?
And most of the Russians would agree that this is really the first time since Tretiak played goal for Russia back in 1983 that the Russians have had a world-class goaltender here at this tournament. Radulov can't bring in the puck, and Jason Chimera takes it back along the boards for Canada. Sends in front, sticked aside by Nabokov. Tereshchenko knocked down, but Russia gets it back to the neutral zone. Scooped ahead. And the Canadians can't clear the zone. Shot from an angle, blocked in front. Bouncing puck out to center now as we go under 5 to play in the period. Kalinin backhands to the Canadian blue line. Carried in, dropped off. Now here's Tereshchenko, poked at from behind. Radulov, a shot from a bad angle. That one's off the glass and around the boards. Again, Tereshchenko tries to send in front, and the Canadians will get it now in their own end. Steos tries the long outlet to Chimera. He'll tip it in. And again, the teams change with 4:25 now left to go in our second period of play.
A couple of good chances from that fourth line for Team Russia. Finnegetov, Radulov, and Tereshchenko putting some pressure on.
And now a loose puck squirting into the Russian end. Kunitz going for it with Markov. Kunitz plays the physical game. Duncan Keith whacks at it to keep it in, but the Russians are going to bring it back to center now. Kovalchuk skates it in on the wing. Ilya Kovalchuk, bad save made by Ward, and Markov missed on the rebound. Terrific chance for Russia right there. Then the shot knocked down by St. Louis. 2-on-2 the other way. St. Louis fires a shot, and it's gloved by Nabokov, who holds on.
Could have been a 3-on-2, but Eric Stahl was knocked down in the neutral zone. First the bid by Kovalchuk. Ward gave up the juicy rebound. Andrei Markov, you see he missed the open look at the net as Ward was scrambling back into position, and the Montreal Canadian knows that he missed an opportunity to make it a one-goal game.
And one of the things the Russians usually do better than any team, they take advantage of every possible opportunity they are given on the offensive end. They really made Finland pay for their mistakes in the semifinals here on Friday. Now Hamhuis backpedaling deeper into his own end for Canada. Along the near boards, out to Getzlaff. Now to Danny Heatley, slides it to Nash, backhand shot, and he lost his stick. Here is Ovechkin moving out to center. Stick handles in, tries to go between his legs. Sandwiched, but stays with the puck in the corner. Ovechkin somehow still on the puck. Saucer pass out to the point. Shot deflected in front to the far side where Nash has it for Canada. He'll play it forward to Danny Heatley. He dumps in, and a line change for the Canadians with 3 minutes now remaining in our middle frame. 4-2. Canada the lead on Russia here in the gold medal game. Now Semin backhands in, and Russia will change as well here. Oh, and a big hit in the corner. Derek Roy, though, comes away for Canada. Circling deep in his own end, behind his goal to Duncan Keith. Zaripov wants to bump him. He stays on it. And the Russians able to keep it in at the points. Knocked down in front. Canada a little sloppy in their own end. Drop back to the point now. And the Russians with good possession in the offensive end. Backhanded deeper, and finally Taves clears the zone for Canada. 2:14 remaining here in the second as the Russians skate it to center once more. But Canada denies them at their own blue line. And now Tereshchenko off for Radulov. Radulov gets it back in the corner, bumps with Duncan Keith. Behind his own goal, Keith trying to play it around the boards. Radulov staying strong on the puck. Now Derek Roy shovels it up the boards. Canada just can't clear the zone. Finally, it comes free. Here's Jason Spezza. Works it in. Spezza tries to go around his man, and now Tereshchenko gobbles up the loose puck for the Russians. Long rink-wide pass for Kovalchuk. He moves in. Shot well wide with 1.5 minutes to go in the period. Long uninterrupted sequence here now. Late in our second period of play. Finally, we get a whistle to break things up as it is icing against Canada.
A couple of decent opportunities, though, for the Russians as they have tried to give Canada a little taste of their own medicine, but Team Canada's game is to bring the physical play. They've had it brought to them a couple times. That was the trail end of that play. Rick Nash, his stick shattered on one end. He sprinted towards the bench, was tossed a replacement, and got back to play the body on Ovechkin. All in one motion from end to end.
Chance for the Russians here. That one was blocked and deflected back to center by Getzlaf. Russians once again send in Zinoviev. Will take a hit. Heatley in behind his own goal. Now comes in front. Kalinin a shot. Ward made the save. A puck rolled back to center now with a minute to go in the period.
Good play by Zinoviev to feed it down the slot as Kalinin stepped up, and Ward got the glove out there to knock it aside.
Here's Jovanovski. Backhands along. Steos cross ice to Getzlaf. Ryan Getzlaf whistles it in around the boards. Final 40 seconds of the period now. Team Canada keeping it down deep. Shane Doan chasing after it. Stays on it near side. Taves now in the corner against Fedorov. Ovechkin going to get some room here on the far side. Fires it along the near boards for Markov. He sends back to Fedorov. Dropped off. Here's Russia coming in. Shot blocked. Bouwmeester sweeps it aside. Now Doan lofts it back to center and bounces all the way into the Russian end with 10 seconds now remaining in the second period. Maybe one more chance for Russia here as they bring it back to center. Intercepted by Kunitz. He'll just gun it in, and that should take us to the horn. We are 2 periods deep into the gold medal game in Quebec City. And after 40 minutes, Canada with a 4-2 lead on Russia.
Well, a better period from Russia. They were able to stay out of the box except for one penalty, but in the end, it's still a 2-goal lead for Canada. 20 minutes from goal on home ice.
Canada with 24 gold medals. Russia, with the Soviet Union before them, combining for 23. No other nation has won even half that many. And now 20 minutes away from one of these two countries getting another gold. And Russia with it in their own end. Here is Markov slotting a pass for Zinoviev. And he'll shovel it in around behind the Canadian goal. Ward will stop it there. Zaripov sweeps in, rolls in front, and the Canadians will bring it out. Saint Louis, little shovel into the zone. Kunitz goes in after it. Kalinin battling along there with Kunitz, who tries to drop it off in front. And Zaripov, rink-wide pass for Morozov in front of his own bench. And coming up on our first line change of the second period of play. Markov then slides one for Fedorov at the red line. Sergei Fedorov has it poked away as he comes in. Ovechkin tries to hold the zone but can't do it. Derek Roy gets bumped off the puck by Ovechkin, and he can't work around Hamhuis. And Hamhuis, very poised in his own end, just slides it up the far wing boards. Korniev back for it, behind his own goal. Doan forechecking for Canada. And here's Taves along the near boards. He's going to take a hit from Ovechkin. And now it comes out to Jonathan Taves. Stick tied up, comes free, shot blocked in front. And then finally sliding loose. Shane Doan taken down, no call is made. Russia with a 3-on-2 if they can get things set up. Semin now circling to Ovechkin, a wrist shot off the skate of Bouwmeester. Now Doan takes a hit from Ovechkin as the puck comes all the way down into the Russian end. Change for Canada, and this will be an icing call a little less than 2 minutes into our third period of play.
You see the linesman there escorting Ovechkin over to the bench after he and Doan had a hard collision, and Ovechkin wobbling after that point. And Doan and Semin talking about it. I think Doan saying, yeah, I got every little bit of your line mate on that one. Ovechkin was wobbly after that hit, wasn't he?
And the benches side by side here at Le Colisée. They're not on opposite sides of the rink. You can reach over and touch a guy on the other team, basically. And the Canadians work it out to center. Russia takes over there. Here's Kovalchuk. Sizing this one up, a shot and a save by Cam Ward. Cam Ward, the former Conn Smythe Trophy winner. 24 years of age, he's won World Championship gold, has also won a Stanley Cup. Looking for back-to-back gold medal wins here at the World Championships this afternoon.
You see Kovalchuk, no goals here in this tournament. That's just his second shot on goal here in this game.
From the draw, Zaripov. Now back to the point. Nikulin, penalty coming up on Canada. They'll try to get the extra skater on here, wrap around, and now the whistle. So Russia will get the early power play here, a little more than 2 minutes into our third period, as they look to trim the deficit to 1. A hooking call coming up.
Patrick Sharp's going to go to the box, 2:11 into the period, just the second penalty of the game for Canada. They've been very disciplined. They've played with great poise, but now Ken Hitchcock knows that it's going to take a long time before the penalties are even up in this game, but you had a sense that one had to come sooner or later against Canada. There it is, and here's Russia on the man advantage, down by 2.
Morozov on the far boards, just holding, tries to center, broken up by Hamhuis, and he's able to flip it down the ice. 23-18, the shots on goal favoring Canada, and they lead by 2 here in the early minutes of our third period of play. Markov, rink-wide pass. Zinoviev poked away to the corner. He tries to backhand behind Cam Ward, rifled off the near glass, but held in by Markov. Only momentarily, though. Spinning puck comes out to center. Morozov again backhands in. Zaripov holding at the point for Russia. And they'll get things organized here on the 5-on-4 with a 1:18 now remaining. Zaripov in front. Now back to Markov, out high once again for Russia. Zaripov far side for Nikulin, long shot, and puck far board. Zinoviev slides it back to the blue line. Now here is Markov lining it up. A shot. Ward the save, and the rebound is going to trickle back out to the neutral zone.
And a bad break there for Russia because Markov came in from the point. That point was left unoccupied, so Russia has to set up once again.
Markov drops it off. Now it's Fedorov giving up to Ovechkin. He drops it to Markov at the point. Now over to Kovalchuk. His shot. Harums to the corner, now around the near boards, and this one's out of play with 27 seconds left in the power play for Russia.
Sergei Fedorov's hurt. He's heading off to the bench. He was in front, and he'll get attention right away. I didn't see what happened. Did he? Yeah, he got hit. Burns knocked him down as Fedorov was sliding back into the slot, so Fedorov never saw it coming, and that 38-year-old back is aching right now.
Ovechkin is out there with Semin, though. Kept in by Korniev for Russia. Shot redirected to the near side. Russia will hold in, however. Final 15 seconds of the power play. Now to Ovechkin in front. He backhands to Kovalchuk. Wrister saved by Ward, and he's going to glove it for the whistle.
Kovalchuk robbed by Ward. Ovechkin with a beautiful no-look pass to Kovalchuk. Kovalchuk walking in, picking his spot, but Ward was there. And as we follow through, watch for the reaction by Kovalchuk after this shot. Kovalchuk thought he had it. Instead, it was Ward who had it. You can just see off to the right of your screen. Kovalchuk just dropping his head down. He pounded the butt end of his stick on the ice. The frustration has been there throughout this tournament for Ilya Kovalchuk. He has showed that frustration from time to time and did it there as he was denied on the power play.
Final seconds of the 5-on-4. Now Sharp is back. We go to even strength 5-on-5. As Russia works it in, Radulov a shot, then Ward is going to cover up on the rebound. Now the Russians historically are a group that can get frustrated, and that will manifest itself. They're not shy about showing their frustration, trying to take it out on their opponent with a little more physical, rugged play, but that can also lead to some bad penalties. We'll see if the frustration builds here in this third if Cam Ward continues to stand up to him. Jovanovski for Canada. And it goes all the way down the ice, and it'll be Kalinin back for it. 15.5 minutes left to go in our third period. 4-2 Canada. Getzlaf from his knees, backhands down deep. Nash, a hit in the corner. Heroshenko has some daylight near side for Russia. Long pass ahead, deflected by Jovanovski up into the Russian bench. Had Jovanovski not gotten to that, that could have been a one-on-none for the Russians, but good anticipation by the veteran defenseman.
He's anchored things defensively, hasn't he, for Team Canada on the blue line? Shots on goal this period, 5-0 in favor of Russia. That power play was active. Give you an indication here that Russia has been getting some opportunities, but Ward has stood tall in Team Canada's goal.
Zinoviev can't control it as the Russians try to work in. Now St. Louis goes down as he backhands in. This is Prushkin. He'll take a bump in the corner. And now Zaripov, long outlet to Morozov. He's going to go around Duncan Keith. Got Keith on his back, drops it off for Zinoviev in front to Tutin. And one pass too many for the Russians. Now Canada back the other way. St. Louis in front, and it's just deflected wide of the mark.
Good job by Zinoviev because Tutin had gone in so deep. Zinoviev on the back check, the forward coming back to make a good defensive play.
Bouwmeester in his own end gathers things for the Canadians. Line change for Russia. 14.5 minutes left to play. Derek Roy with a nifty move. Backhand. Nabokov the save. Rebound, and that one went wide. Shane Doan with the shot for Canada. Bouwmeester there to keep it in. Wrist shot. Never made it through. And Nikulin is going to go into the wall. Taken by Doan. And four players have it wedged to the wall. And the officials want him to get it free. Puck sliding gingerly along the boards. Now here comes Markov away near side. Ovechkin out at center trying to do his thing. Chipped away and into the crowd. So just under 14 minutes left to play in our third period. 4 goals in the first, 2 in the second, none so far in the third. Still a 4-2 Canada lead. Now Canada with a terrific chance right there. Shane Doan on the shot. A lot of congestion in front of Nabokov, however. And Kunitz bidding for his second of the game as well for Canada. It's been a very active line out there for Team Canada. And just showing the contributions that Canada has been getting from out all 4 lines here at this tournament.
Yeah, great move by Derek Roy from the Buffalo Sabres. He has 9 points here in this tournament, and great individual effort to create a scoring chance for Team Canada. 4-2, Canada on top. It was a big first period that still stands as the difference in this game. Canada outshot Russia 15-5 in that first period, outscored them 3-1, and they have that 2-goal advantage right now.
We're going to start to get to that stage of the game where the next goal could be decisive. Either gets Russia back in the game or puts it out of reach for Canada. 13.5 minutes now remaining. Russians forced into their own end. Kovalchuk comes away. Now takes a big hit as he tries to carry in. Radulov has it taken away from him, but the Russians will take over in the neutral zone. Quick puck movement. Kovalchuk works it in for Russia. He wants to center, comes in front, poked away, kept in by Korniev. His shot knocked down in front. There's Kovalchuk on it in the corner for Russia, and his pass deflected back out to center. 7 minutes into our third period. 2-goal lead for Canada. They will change as the Russians have it in their own end.
And Russia has made the subtle switch here, taking Kovalchuk off that Morozov line. So the Akbars-Kazan line is reunited with Zinoviev, Morozov, and Zaripov together.
Rick Nash at center for Canada. Now Burns in his own end. Along the near boards for Heatley. He's got Markov on his back. Now down for Nash. And the Russians collect it near side, but have a little trouble working out of their own end. Finally, it's Morozov who takes a hit to the face. No call is made as the Canadians come back. Puck slides into the Russian end. The Russian crowd here wanted a penalty.
Yeah, referee was looking right at that one, so Morozov unable to sell it.
Kalinin whacks it in around the glass. Ovechkin turns, no look shot, winds to the near side. Nobody there at the point for Russia. Under 12 now to play. And this is Prushkin backhanding at center. And the Canadians will come back in with St. Louis. He'll backhand in on goal. Nabokov to the corner. Now Ovechkin with it. Softly along the wall to Semin, who has the only 2 Russian goals here today. Cross ice for Fedorov. Tried to find Ovechkin. Fedorov takes it back. And drop it off. Tutin behind the goal. Ovechkin couldn't handle it. And St. Louis chops at it, but not out for Canada. Tutin and St. Louis going at it. Now Semin, Arister well wide. And once again, Russia going to have to take it back into the neutral zone. Tutin slides for Semin. He's got Ovechkin with him. Partially fanned on the shot. Now they score! Tereshchenko cuts the deficit to 1 for Russia with just over 11 minutes left to play in regulation.
Second of the tournament for Alexei Tereshchenko. As Russia carried in, Tereshchenko is coming off the bench to replace Sergei Fedorov. Semin and Ovechkin were still on the ice, so Tereshchenko unmarked as he came up down the slot and put it in for the goal, and Russia has it back to within 1.
And the Russian crowd, everybody on their feet. With 11:05 left to play in regulation, things tightening up here at Le Colisée. But as we've seen so far today, as we witnessed in the semifinal against Sweden. Every time their opponent in these last two games has scored on Team Canada, the Canadians have bounced right back. They've been tremendously resilient in going forward offensively. Coming back with a goal just minutes later, it seems like, every time. Markov, rink-wide pass, Teuton. Smokes it in around the boards to the near side for Heatley, but Tereshchenko steps in front of him.
Now Kovalchuk on this line with the Fedogenov and Tereshchenko, as Tereshchenko gets it again.
I was looking for a Fedogenov, and now Canada with Getzlaf trying to move in. Nash collides with Fedogenov. And a penalty coming up on Canada. Delayed call as Nabokov at the bench, but now the whistle blows, and Russia, after just getting their third goal, now we're going on the power play here.
At the blue line, the hook under the armpit of Tereshchenko, who's drawn some attention here. That's going to send Ryan Getzlaf to the penalty box. So you've got Getzlaf in the box, one of your top offensive players, as Canada's going to be on the penalty kill here with 10:27 to go into third, as it turns back into Russia's favor here in the gold medal game.
The Russians, traditionally so good at seizing the moment. This is a huge moment in this hockey game. 10.5 minutes to play in the third. They trail by 1, and now with a 5-on-4 for the next 2 minutes. And from the draw, Semin a shot, and Ward had to make the save. Hacked at and back out to center. Kovalchuk ready to carry right back in. A rink-wide pass, and now the Russians set things up before they work it in. Backhanded, and the Russians never really got things settled before they tried to carry in, so that gives Canada a chance to shoot it down the ice. Now here comes Fedorov out to center. The veteran plays to Ovechkin on the wing. Hamhuis loads and just rifles it down the ice. Just over the midway point of our third period. 4-3 Canada. 1:20 to go in the 5-on-4 for Russia. Zinoviev pulls up and drops it at the point, and pass mishandled by Kovalchuk. And the Russians force back deep into their own end. Now Canada leading all teams at this tournament with 3 shorthanded goals, and now a chance in front. Here's Eric Staal. He's going to stay with it. Gives it off to Kunitz. Tries to backhand for Staal, and now he goes into the net. It comes away from the magnets, and we get a whistle. Now Kunitz and Staal, terrific job killing off the penalty and creating some offensive chances on the PK for Canada.
Well, the sloppiness for Russia began before this moment right here. You'll see the tail end of it, of the play, as Staal was knocked over by Korneyev and into Nabokov. You see Korneyev tripping up Staal, and that's how Nabokov got upended. But Russia just real sloppy in their own end. On the man advantage, it results in a face-off in the Russian defensive zone.
Under a minute to go in the power play for Russia here. Prushkin backhands behind his own goal. Kalinin ahead for Zinoviev. Looking near side, he's going to find Prushkin on the boards. Now the Russians work it in behind the Canadian goal. They'll try to get things structured on the power play. Now to Prushkin, near side. Shot misses well wide, and Nikulin isn't in position to keep it in at the point. 25 seconds left to go on the power play for Russia. Quickly back to center. Prushkin has it poke checked away. Now St. Louis knocked down at center. And Russia with the final 10 seconds of their man advantage. Zaripov chasing in after it. Cam Ward sweeps it to the near side for Canada. Now in front, nobody there for the Russians. Final few seconds, and Getzlaf back on the ice. We're 5-on-5 here. Shot knocked down in front. And here comes Getzlaf out to center for Canada. Bouncing puck, and Russia wants to catch Canada in a change, but a shot is blocked by Staios. One of the best shot blockers in the NHL. Staios blocked another there for Canada. And now St. Louis dropping it off for Ryan Getzlaf. Gets around his man on the wall. Prushkin, though, takes over for Russia. Out to Tereshchenko, now Zinoviev. against Steos. Tries to walk around him. And the Canadians will turn it back the other direction. Heatley gets sandwiched in Russia into their own end. As we're down to 7:40 left to go. Canada with a 1-goal lead in the gold medal game. Bouwmeester back for the puck. No, a giveaway, but it comes right in on Cam Ward, who's able to glove. 7:30 remaining in regulation. Canada 4-3, the lead over Russia.
Not much happening on the power play for Slava Bykov's team. Their second man advantage of the third period. And this was just a moment ago as a Finneganov reached in to knock the puck towards Cam Ward, who easily covered it up. And Ward will head back into the goal. 7.5 minutes to go. Canada was on top 3-1 after one. It's now a 4-3 game with Ovechkin lurking here with plenty of time to go. He has worked hard. He's thrown his body around. He has been hit. We've seen Zinoviev in the middle of things. Terashenko's played very well here in the third period. Can Russia get the equalizer, or will Canada end the long drought for a host nation winning a gold medal? Hasn't happened since '86 when the Soviet Union won.
And the faceoff will come deep in the Team Canada end to the left of Cam Ward. Shots on goal have really tightened up. 26-25 in favor of Canada. And they also lead the game by a single goal at 4-3. Kept in by Semin. Locked in front by Canada. And they'll slide it down the ice. And this will be icing against the Canadians. Now, you had to believe it was going to come down to the final minutes of the third period. These two teams just so good, so much talent, so consistent throughout this entire event. Just hard to believe that one team was going to be in position to blow out the other, and we've got the type of game that we had envisioned. 1 goal separating them with just over 7 minutes left to play.
Well, the shots on goal now even at 26, Steve. That means here in this period, Russia has outshot Canada 9-3. So Hitchcock's team back on their heels here a little bit, trying to protect that 1-goal lead. It was 2 goals at the start of this period.
Now bouncing puck, rolling in front. Doan, big hit for Canada, but it's Russia back the other direction. Here's Semin trying to pull up for Ovechkin, and Ward made the save on the one-timer. Fedorov will keep in, sliding it in front. Hamhuis got a skate on it, and now Russia back in the neutral zone. Things definitely turning in Russia's favor. They've got some momentum here. They've got a rhythm to their play, but they still need a goal. Trailing by 1 with 6.5 to go. Now into the corner, around to the far side. Semin off the near boards. Ovechkin is going to pick it up. And again, Ward makes the stop. Steos takes a hit from Ovechkin behind his own goal. St. Louis on the boards. Will flip it forward. Korniev back for Russia. Graveshkov. Long pass ahead at center. Morozov looking to drop it back. Tipped into the neutral zone once again by Canada. Boy, they're so good at getting their sticks in the passing lane. Now Zinoviev lost it between his skates. Zaripov long shot, and Cam Ward barely had to move.
Steve, you and I talked about it in that opening period when Canada had a 3-1 lead thanks to the Burns goal on the 5-on-3. They still had a 5-on-4 after that point. They were rolling, and they had a chance to go up 4-1 or maybe 5-1 in that first period. It was that one-sided with 10 minutes and penalties whistled on Russia, but they could not deliver the knockout punch there. And we knew Russia had that comeback ability, and they have chipped away to get close here. But can they get over the hump and tie this game at 4? That's a big question here against this physical, tough Team Canada.
Canada blocking shots, getting their sticks in the lanes. Ward also playing very well, but Russia just creating chance after chance here in the last few minutes. Spezza winds up and tries to chop it out of the zone. Finally, it's Chimera who gets it down the ice for Canada. And the rolling puck is going to be icing against Team Canada with 5:39 to go in the third. And another face-off coming deep in the Canadiens' end.
Certainly seems like there's a lot of time left in this game for Canada to be in full prevent mode. Shots on goal would support that fact. The fact that now Russia is out shooting Canada 28-26 as Canada's Prime Minister Stephen Harper looks on here at Le Colisée.
Now the Russians get it off the draw, 2-10. Chimera will be the first to it for Canada. He scoops it out of the zone. Russia will have to go all the way back with 5:30 now left to play. You don't often see Canada just trying to clear it down the ice, but they are back on their heels just a bit against this very fast Russian team. Kovalchuk shot and he scores! Kovalchuk has tied the game for Russia! Things have indeed changed here in Quebec.
The drought is over, and what timing for Ilya Kovalchuk, who scored 52 goals in the NHL this season, second only to Alex Ovechkin. Kovalchuk let it go, Ward never touched it, and Ilya Kovalchuk. Well, that celebration was a long time coming, wasn't it? It wasn't the game winner, but it felt like it. Russia's been brought back by Kovalchuk, even at 4, and Canada wants the timeout. Now, Canada has to play hockey. If Canada was sitting back just trying to take the air out of this game and try to wind that clock down and sit on that 1-goal lead, now they can forget about that. Now they can go out and get a little bit more aggressive, and maybe that's Hitchcock's message. You've let them all the way back in, now turn things around a little bit and be aggressive.
Russia has erased a 2-goal deficit. They are now out shooting Canada, 29-26. Here's the goal again. Kovalchuk picking up the loose puck and then gets it past Bouwmeester, gets it past Ward. You can't sit on a lead against Russia. They're too quick. They are too good. They can score just in the blink of an eye, and now Canada forced to go forward once again. Sweden got the lead on them in the semifinals, but Canada had the answer every time. Will they have the answer against Russia here in the gold medal game with 5 minutes to go? We are tied at 4 at Le Colisée. Kalinin in his own end for Russia. And that one is going to be hit with a high stick with 4:49 showing on the clock, and the faceoff coming deep in the Canadian end.
Shots on goal now 12-3. Here in the third period. That's what you need to know, as Bykov's team has stuck with it. Down by 2 at the end of 1, down by 2 at the end of 2. They have scored twice here in the third to make it a 4-4 game. Now, is this momentum rolling a little bit too much for Russia? Can Canada stop it right now? Because Russia is on quite a bit of a roll right now. Can they get it over the top and get their first lead of the game?
Now Canada plays their best hockey when they go on the offensive. Now they carry in, and Nabokov makes the save on Getzlaf. Top line for Canada out there now. Heatley, Nash, and Getzlaf. Here is Rick Nash. Now Heatley behind the goal. Morozov on him. Now Nash trying to work it in front. Turns, shot. Zinoviev can't clear. Finally, Zaripov brings it out to center and just lifts it straight up.
I mean, really, when was the last time Nabokov had to make a save? Seems like it's been forever.
This is the first time we've seen Canada play defensive hockey here at this tournament. Now they have to dial it back up with just over 4 minutes to go. Russia has tied the game on an Ilya Kovalchuk goal. We are 4 apiece, and this atmosphere is electric. 13,000 fans. What an atmosphere for this World Championship gold medal game. And now the Russians carrying in. Kovalchuk dumps it off, centered, and out of play. Now it's following the script. Going down to the final minutes. Tied in the final game here at the World Hockey Championships in the 100th year of the IIHF, in the first ever World Championships held in the birthplace of the sport. The two most decorated hockey-playing cultures are deadlocked at 4 apiece. Now a long shot deflected. Side of the net comes loose. Canada skating hard to center ice now. Shamera tries to go around Graveshkov. It's capped in. Here is Spezza. Can't go around Kovalchuk, but he takes it into the corner. Spezza hits the back of the net. Now Terashenko gets it for the Russians. Near side to Kovalchuk. Rink-wide effort. And now Duncan Keith. Patrick Sharp banned behind the Canadian goal. Winding down to just over 3 minutes left in regulation. Steos skates it to center for Canada. Whacks it in around behind the Russian goal. Shamera battling. Prushkin on the far side. The Russians come away. Now it's center. Here is Ovechkin trying to split the defense. Alexander Ovechkin against Hamhuis. Going to take him to the wall. Now it's Derek Roy scooping it down the ice. And this is going to be icing against Canada. Well, with 2:41 left to go in the third, if we stay tied, this will be the first game here at this tournament where we will play a full extra period of sudden death if necessary. They will resurface the ice. The teams will treat it like a regular intermission, and then we would have 20 minutes of sudden death overtime. Without a goal after that, then we go to the shootout to decide the gold medal. But still 2:41 of regulation time left to play. Hamhuis leaves it in the corner for Canada, and now here comes Rick Nash. Brent Burns, who has a pair of goals for Canada, rolls it in on Nabokov. Zaripov. Oh, it comes dangerously in front. Loose. Heatley a shot. Best chance Canada has had in quite a while.
Rick Nash took a puck up in the face. He has to head off. We'll have to see if he needs to go to the dressing room for stitches.
Now Kalinin from behind his own goal. Out to center. Too far for Kovalchuk, however, and it's icing against Russia with 2:06 remaining.
Now this could be a factor if this game does go to overtime. Nash went directly to the dressing room. Watch it again. The puck comes up, gets him right under the visor. He knew right away, took his glove off, checked for blood, and he didn't even not stop at the bench. He went right back to the dressing room. So perhaps needing some stitches as Nash, the hero last year, the MVP of the world, unavailable at the moment for Team Canada.
Eric Stahl in the face-off circle against Terashenko to the left of the Russian net. Deafening noise here at Le Colisée. Now Mike Green. A shot was blocked in front. Kunitz in the corner against Markov. As we're under 2 minutes left to go, Markov skates away for Russia. Now Kovalchuk with it. Gains the zone. Pulls up. Looking for some help. Slides it across the blue line. Now dumped off. And Canada playing it down the near side all the way into the Russian end. Nikulin off the far boards, too far for Terashenko, comes in on goal, and Ward has to play it to the near side. St. Louis tips it forward to Eric Stahl. 1.5 minutes left to go. 4-4 gold medal game in Quebec City. Duncan Keith is going to chase after this one, but he won't have to hurry because it's icing against Russia.
Now the Canadian fans will make some noise. An opportunity here for Team Canada as they'll bring the face-off to the right of Evgeny Nabokov.
Flags of both countries waving high here among this sellout crowd of 13,000.
With Nash out, Steve, Patrick Sharp takes the spot on that top line for Team Canada.
Ovechkin tips it forward down the ice, and once again it's icing against Russia. So another face-off coming up in the Russian end.
And here comes Nash back onto the ice. That didn't take very long. Patch me up, I need to be out there. So Nash comes on, and Sharp will go back off. Let's see if it makes a difference as the draw comes to the left of Nabokov this time.
Now we're at that stage where the next goal could very well be the one that wins it. Now Nash in front, and Ovechkin has some room to center. He's 1-on-2, but still dangerous. Alexander Ovechkin trying to move in. Hamhuis goes down, Ovechkin in the corner. Gonna take a hit, and Burns Sweeps it around to the near side, but not out. And that shot was knocked down by Getzlaf, who backhands to the near side. And now the Russians are offsides with under a minute left to go in regulation play.
Wow. Nearly an opportunity coming back the other way for Team Canada, but it was broken up in the neutral zone. First of all, Ovechkin 1-on-2 may not seem like a good idea, but with the way Ovechkin's been playing, why not? Couldn't get a shot up on goal. And then back the other way. Canada was trying to break back, and Getzlaf almost had Nash, but it was broken up.
Face-off out at center with 48.4 seconds remaining. Tutin back in his own end for Russia. Head to Zinoviev, one-touch pass from Morozov, and now Steos going to get to it first, deep in his own end for Canada. Going to take shelter behind his own cage with half a minute left to go in regulation play. We are tied at 4 here in Canada. Morozov intercepts at center. Zaripov, shot partially blocked, and Ward is not going to take any chances.
So now the opportunity turns down to the other end of the ice, and a chance for Russia with the face-off to the right of Cam Ward. Both teams have used their timeouts. Remember, it was getting away from Russia in the first period. Bykov took his timeout with his team down 3-1. And then when Russia came storming back, Hitchcock took a timeout to try to settle his team down.
Now the teams pretty much dead even at this point. No real momentum to speak of either direction. As off the draw, Burns plays it forward. And now Canada gets it out of the zone. Ovechkin fires it back in. Hamhuis going to get on the puck there, and this should take us to the end of regulation. 5 seconds left to go. Long shot by Nash, never even lets it go. Pulled it back, but that's going to do it. We are through 3 periods. 60 minutes of regulation play, not enough to decide the gold medal game. Canada and Russia tied at 4, so we will have 20 minutes of sudden death overtime coming up. The next goal wins the gold medal here at the World Championships. So it's sudden death overtime here at Le Colisée in Quebec City, with Canada and Russia even at 4 apiece. Well, clearly, without the circumstances we have right now, it would be a delay of game. But the officials certainly don't want to have a significant impact on the outcome of this game now. Both captains over there talking with the officials here.
It's been a subjective call, and you know, perhaps that's what the debate is here between all the officials. Yeah, they're going to call the penalty. Penalties going against Nash for delay of game. Boy, that was a long discussion, as there was some doubt, and it's going to be a 4-on-3. It's interesting, Steve, because this World Championship has been played on the North American size ice sheet, 200 by 85 feet, not the international size, the Olympic size sheet. But now in the 4-on-4, there seems to be so much more room on the ice. 4-on-3, it's going to seem like there are acres of space on the ice out there for Russia to move around, and they come right out with 4 forwards here in the 4-on-3. Look at this firepower. Semin, Fedorov, Ovechkin, Kovalchuk trying to put it away right now.
Face off to the right of Cam Ward. 4-on-3, just about 2 minutes into the overtime period, and the Canadians send down the ice. Nervous moments for the Canadian crowd here at Le Colisée. Team Canada at one point in regulation led by 2. We are now in overtime, tied at 4, and the Russians will set it up. Here is Semin on the far wall. He's got 2 goals for the Russians here today. Back to Ovechkin, now Kovalchuk. Gonna take his time. Now loads, guns a save, and on the rebound it's sent up into the nets.
Fedorov is going to argue that his follow-up shot was tipped up and out of play, but the referee saying the puck was on edge and you shot it up into the net. Yeah, I think so. I don't think Cam Ward got the follow-up. Good call by the referee. Look at Ovechkin. Well, the key part about that call is they bring the face-off outside the zone here in the 4-on-3.
1:28 left to go in the Rick Nash delay of game penalty. And Russia with Kovalchuk. Now Fedorov skates it in, pulls back along the blue line for Kovalchuk, walking in, a shot, and he scores! Kovalchuk gets the gold medal winning goal in overtime! What a comeback, what a game, what a gold medal for the Russians! And heartbreak for Canada.
Really two turning points in this game, in my opinion. As you see the tears, you see what this means to Russia to have their first World Championship since 1993. The first period, Canada poised to blow Russia out of the game. They could not. Russia stuck with it. And in the third period, Kovalchuk scored that goal that finally got him on the score sheet. And it seemed to shoot him full of so much confidence. And with Nash in the penalty box, this will go into the books as a controversial gold medal for Russia, because the officials had to talk for so long about, well, should that be a penalty on Nash? They eventually decided to give Russia the 4-on-3, and we mentioned the names: Fedorov, Semin, Ovechkin, and in the end, it's Kovalchuk. 2:42 in to the overtime that ends it on the power play. And Russia, golden here in Canada.
How about the irony? Last year in Moscow, it was Russia trying to become the first team in 2 decades to win the gold medal on home ice, but it was Canada coming away with the top prize. Now here we are a year later, and the Canadians themselves trying to become the first team to win gold on home ice in 22 years. And who is the team that denies them? The Russians, with an overtime win, a 5-4 score. Kovalchuk, his second of the game, and the Russians have now equaled Canada with 24 gold medals all time. It is their second gold medal as the country of Russia specifically, but when you add in the ones captured by the Soviet Union, this country has now won 24 gold medals all time to equal the total of Canada. 5-4, Russia wins the gold in overtime here in Quebec, and we'll come back with more from the Colisée right after this on WCSN.
Amazing that Kovalchuk would go from GOAT to hero so quickly. He has that kind of talent. It wasn't for a lack of scoring opportunities. And Russia, look at the celebration. The 2 leading goal scorers in the NHL this year come together for Team Russia. Canada's stunned. I mean, they had just marched through this tournament. They were challenged a couple of times in Halifax. Blew through Norway in the quarterfinal, held on to beat Sweden in the semifinal. Ken Hitchcock's team comes up short here in the gold medal game, leading by 2 at the end of 1 period, 2 heading into the 3rd period, but 3 unanswered goals by Russia, 2 of them scored by Ilya Kovalchuk to give the gold medal to Team Russia.
The Canadians knew that nothing less than a gold medal would suffice. They knew about the pressure. They had accepted it the entire tournament. They looked like they were not even fazed by it as they just steamrolled to an 8-0 record. And then getting the 2-goal lead here today, it looked like they were going to put the exclamation point on another historic tournament, but Russia was able to turn it around. We saw the momentum change there in the third period, and then Canada start to become defensive for the first time in the tournament. They also began overtime a little tentatively as well. Then the delay of game call on Rick Nash, and then after that on a 4-on-3, Kovalchuk had so much time to rip one over the shoulder of Cam Ward to win the gold medal.
Yeah, no question. That 2-goal lead seemed to be the worst thing for Canada. They sat on it for far too long.
Now for Russia, it is their first World Championship gold medal since 1993. As the celebration continues for the Russians, the Canadians all lined up along the blue line. They just want to get the medal ceremony out of the way. But the Russians accepting the congratulations of the dignitaries, the coaches, the staff,
and those are well-deserved well wishes for Slava Bykov. Steve, he's the one who really changed the mindset of how a coach should run things for Team Russia. He wanted open dialogue. He wanted, the term we use here in the States is to be a player's coach. Still ruling with a bit of an iron fist, but a little softer than what he had played under. And he really had open communication with the players. He had to be firm at times, but when it came down to it, he pulled together this group of players from the National Hockey League and from the Russian Super League and all over Europe into a unit. And they played team hockey. They played disciplined hockey, except for the first 20 minutes in this game here today. Throughout the tournament, they overcame that in the first period to win here in Quebec City by a score of 5-4.
Now they may no longer be the Red Army. The team emerging from behind the Iron Curtain with the CCCP on their sweaters, but this is still Russian hockey. The country that dazzled for so long, the mysterious nation with so many skilled players you only saw during the World Championships or the Olympics, when they were allowed to emerge from within the boundaries of their own country and play on the international stage. It took your breath away with their skill and their speed, and we're of course now in an era where they're allowed to come over and play in the National Hockey League, so we see their incredible skill on a regular basis. But when they get together as a nation and play for a gold medal like this, they have developed the ability to play as a team, to in some ways subjugate those individual skills for the greater good of the entire squad.
Here's the moment. The captain, Morozov. Watch him get mobbed. What a moment for Sergei Fedorov, isn't it? Comes back after an 18-year absence here at the Worlds to rejoin the national team at age 38. So Fedorov back, and Russia will share it. The trophy, the first that they'll own since 1993.
Well, we also have the all-star team that's been designated here for this World Championship event. The top goaltender is Evgeny Nabokov of Russia. The defenseman, Tomas Kaberle of the Czech Republic and Mike Green of Canada. And the three forwards, Danny Heatley, Alexander Ovechkin, and Rick Nash. The MVP, no surprise, Danny Heatley of Canada. Got his 12th goal and 20th point here today in the gold medal game. It is the second World Championship MVP for Heatley, to go along with the one he won in 2004. But the distinct difference, that year Canada won gold. His individual award this year won't taste as sweet because Canada has to settle for the silver.
Well, this is a bittersweet moment for the fans here in Quebec City, isn't it? They have remained here in the building for the most part to salute Team Canada that brought them so many great moments. Heatley being introduced as the most valuable player of the tournament. His fans saluting him. Russian fans certainly saluting him as well. Doesn't want to hold on to that trophy too long. It's not the championship trophy that he wanted. Silver medal for Canada after winning the gold a year ago, and you just have to give the credit to Team Russia as they were down in this game, and even though they were struggling to stay out of the penalty box and down 3-1 and facing another power play, Baikov stuck with this team. And we mentioned it, Steve, that down just 3-1 at the end of one period almost felt like a victory for Russia. They parlayed that into a victory in overtime, thanks to Ilya Kovalchuk. And what a fitting end for Kovalchuk. I mean, he had been robbed throughout the tournament. He must have broken about a dozen sticks when he thought he was teeing up a goal. He showed that frustration throughout, but he finally gets a goal here as Kovalchuk scores in the third and in World Championship.
Yeah, boy, what a ride it has been. 54 games over the last 17 days, and we certainly hope you've enjoyed our complete World Hockey Championship coverage here on WCSN. It was an historic event with as magnificent an ending as we could have possibly hoped for. A rich and captivating sports moment, really by any measure, and we were certainly thrilled to be a part of this here at Le Colisée. Russia wins their first gold medal in the last 15 years, and now, for Eric Freed and all of us at the World Championship Sports Network, I'm Steve Schlanger. Thanks for sharing the moment with us, and now we bid you so long for the last time from Quebec City.
Et maintenant, les gagnants de la médaille d'or, équipe Russie.
Dear ice hockey fans, the gold medals for the 2008 IIHF World Champions, Team Russia.
Les médailles d'or seront présentées par le président de l'IIHF, M. René Fressen, et le président du CIO, M. Jacques Roguet, accompagné de M. Alexander Stedlin, membre du conseil de l'IIHF.
The gold medals will be presented by IIHF President Dr. René Fressen, IOC President Dr. Jacques Roguet, and by Mr. Alexander
Этот для тебя, Россия!
Mesdames et messieurs, veuillez s'il vous plaît maintenant vous lever pour l'interprétation de l'hymne national de l'équipe gagnante, équipe Russie.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the national anthem of the gold medal winning team, Team Russia.
La parole revient maintenant au président de la Fédération internationale de hockey sur glace, M. René Fassin, qui prononcera le mot de la fin du championnat mondial 2008 de l'IIHF.
Please welcome the president of the International Ice Hockey